A very good morning, dear children. Today we are going to see the remaining part of the chapter number 3, that is force and pressure. Now let us see inertia. We have seen that an object changes its state of motion due to force. Means when we are applying any force, then that object changes its motion. In the absence of force, objects exhibit a tendency to remain in the existing state of motion. So if we are not applying any force to motion object, means that object in motion, and we are not applying any force to that object, then that object will be in the state of motion only. So let us consider this activity, children. You have to take one postcard, and that postcard you have to keep on the glass, and on that postcard you have to keep one 5 rupee coin. Then afterwards you have to push that card. Then the coin straight away falls into the glass. Okay. So why like this happen, children? Because when the cardboard is pulled, the coin falls into the glass. This is because the coin has inertia. And when we are pushing this card, then obviously that coin has getting motion. And due to that, this coin is fall into the glass due to the presence of gravity. Means that coin has getting motion and it falls into the glass due to the gravity or gravitational force. Now let us see, children, second activity. You have to take half kg of mass, and that you have to tie to a string first. Then afterwards you have to take another string, and that you have to tie with the same mass, and that mass should be hanging. Okay. Now pull the string 2 with a jerk. Then afterwards you have to pull that second string. Then string 2 breaks, but the mass does not fall. So obviously when you are pulling that second string, this string will break, but this mass will not fall. Heavy mass does not move. Now pull the string 2 slowly. Then afterwards you have to pull that string slowly. Means second string you have to pull slowly. Then now when you are pulling this second string slowly, now this time string first will break and mass fall down. Okay. So when you are pulling this second string so slowly, that time, children, that first string will break and this mass will fall down. This is because of the tension developed in the string 2 due to the mass. Because full weight has taken this first string, and when we are taking slowly this second string, then first string obviously breaks, and due to that mass is also falling down because full weight is taken by first string, and when it will break, then obviously mass will fall down. Now let us see third activity, children. You have to take one sharp pointed nail, and then you have to push in that wooden plank by hammering on its head. So that time this nail will go inside the plank easily. Now you have to take its pointed end, upper side, and from that pointed end you have to hammer it so that its head will go inside the wooden plank. But that head will not go inside the wooden plank because now down part is not pointed. So due to that it will not go by hammering also inside the wooden plank. Now same activity you can do for pins also. If you are taking drawing pins, then with the help of drawing pins, when you are pressing on that wooden board, okay, or on the drawing board, then that pins will go, or those pins will go inside the wooden board easily. But when you are taking these pins, that sharp end towards you, and when you are pressing with the help of your thumb, then your thumb has got hurt. But then also that pins are not going inside the wooden board or drawing board. Now what does this simple experiment tells us? So the nail easily penetrates into wood from its pointed end. From this you can say that, children, when a force is applied on the head of the nail, it is easy to hammer it into the plank. Means it is easy to hammer it into the plank due to its head only. Now always remember, the tendency of an object to remain in its existing state, that is called called as inertia. This is why an object in stationary state remains in the same state and an object in motion remain in the state of motion in the absence of external force. So if we are not applying any external force to that object, then if that object is in stationary state, children, then it will remain in that state only. And if that object in the motion, then it will remain in the motion only until and unless we are not applying any external force. Now let us see types of inertia. So first is inertia of the state of rest. An object in the state of rest cannot change its state of rest due to its inherent, that is essential property. And this property is called as inertia of the state of rest. Means object will remain in the state of rest if we are not applying any external unbalanced force. So in the activity number 1, that is coin and card example, in that we are not applying any force to that coin, then till that time that object in the state of rest only, and that property is called as inertia of the state of rest. Now second type, inertia of motion. The inherent, that is essential property of an object due to its state of motion cannot change is called its inertia of motion. Okay. For example, a revolving electric fan continues to revolve even after it is switched off. Okay. So when we are off the electric fan, then also it is revolving due to the inertia of motion. Again, second example, passengers sitting in the running bus get a jerk in the forward direction if the bus suddenly stops. So when passengers are in the bus and that running bus is there, and when driver is applying brake, then they are moving in the forward direction. Okay, due to this inertia of motion. Now third type of inertia is directional inertia. The inherent property of an object due to which the object cannot change the direction of its motion is called as directional inertia. For example, if a vehicle in motion, they are along a straight line and suddenly that vehicle turns, then the passengers sitting in it, they are also turning, but they are turning in the opposite direction. Okay, and that is due to the directional inertia. Now let us see use your brain power. It is easy to cut vegetables or fruits with a sharp knife. A blunt knife does not work here. Why does this happen? So there is the effect of a given force that is inversely proportional to the area of the surface on which the force is applied. So the less the surface area, the greater is the effect of the force. And due to that, the cutting edge of a sharp knife has less cross-sectional area. Sharp knife contains less cross-sectional area relative to that of the blunt knife. And hence, it is easy to cut vegetables or fruits with a sharp knife rather than the blunt knife, because here area for the blunt knife is more and area for that sharp knife is less, and due to that it is effect of force only, means there it will be a presence of effect of force, and due to that it is very easy to cut vegetables or fruits with the help of sharp knife than with a blunt knife. Now let us see, children, what is the meaning of pressure. The force exerted perpendicularly on a unit area. The force exerted perpendicular on a unit area, that is called as a pressure. And this pressure has formula force upon area on which the force is applied. Okay, so in short we can say that pressure is equal to force upon area. Presently we are considering only the force acting on an area in a direction perpendicular to it. Now after looking the definition and formula of pressure, let us see unit of pressure. The SI unit of force is Newton, that is capital N. Area is is measured in meter square. Therefore, SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square, and it is also called as Pascal, that is PA. In atmospheric science, the unit of pressure is bar. So therefore, 1 bar is equal to 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Pressure is a scalar quantity because it requires only magnitude. It does not require direction. So due to that, pressure is a scalar quantity. If area increases, pressure reduces for the same force, and if area decreases, pressure increases for the same force. Means in short, we can say that children, area and pressure both are inversely proportional to each other. As the area increases, that time pressure decreases, and as the area decreases, that time pressure increases. For example, due to natural adaptation, the bottom surface of the camel's feet are broad. Hence, the camel's weight is exerted on a large area and the pressure on the sand is reduced. And this is why camel's feet do not penetrate into the sand and it becomes easy to walk. Means there is a broad surface of feet are there of camel, and there is a this feet are broad, and due to that camel's weight can be exerted on that large surface area, and due to that camel has to apply less pressure on the sand when he will walk in the sand. Okay, and due to that camel's feet do not penetrate into the sand and it becomes easy to walk. Now next topic is pressure on solids. Air pressure is exerted on all the objects kept in air. When weight is kept on a solid, pressure is exerted on it. This pressure depends on the value of the weight and the contact area between the two. So there is a pressure exerted, and that pressure is depends on the weight and the contact area between the two objects. Now let us see one activity. This is figure 3.2, that is of force and pressure. So what you are looking in this figure? So in the first figure, the plank is horizontal. Okay. Then in the second figure, there are 4 books which placed on that plank, and the plank bends slightly due to the pressure produced by the weight of the books. Now in the third figure, there are 4 books. They are placed one above the other in the middle of the plank. So here the area of the surface of the plank on which the force acts is reduced by a factor of 4 relative to the earlier case, and hence the plank bends more than the second case or than the first case. Now next is use your brain power. You must have seen, children, a vegetable vendor carrying a basket on her head. Okay. She keeps a twisted piece of cloth on the head below the basket. How does it help? So keeping a twisted piece of cloth on the head increases the area of the surface on which the weight of the basket containing vegetable acts. Hence the pressure produced by the force, that is weight, is reduced and it becomes easier to carry the basket. Now let us see next question, children. We cannot stand at one place for a long time. Then how we can sleep on a place for 8 and odd hours? So when we stand, our weight acts on relatively small surface area, resulting in increased tension on the muscles of our legs. Hence, we cannot stand at one place for a long time. But when we will sleep, that time our weight acts on relatively large surface area and resulting in comparatively reduced tension, and therefore we can sleep on a place for 8 and odd hours. Now let us see third question, children. For skiing on ice, why are long flat ski used? So the pressure produced by a given force depends on the area of the surface on which the force acts. The greater the surface area, the less is the pressure produced. The skis used to slide over snow are long and flat, that the area is increased and hence the pressure is decreased, and this makes it easier to slide over the snow, and due to that these long and flat skis are used. Now next topic is pressure of liquid. So let us see one activity for this. Take a plastic bottle, take a 10 centimeter long piece of a glass tube on which a rubber balloon can be fitted. Warm up one end of the glass tube and gently push in the bottle at about 5 centimeter from the bottom. To avoid water leakage, apply molten wax on the slide of the glass tube. Now fill water slowly in the bottle and see how the balloon inflates. What is observed? The pressure of water acts on the side of the bottle as well. So here what happens? Area of cross section of the tube remains same. As the level of the water in the bottle rises, the mass of the water increases, resulting in increase in the weight of the bottle. As the applied force increases, the pressure also increases, and due to that balloon increases in size. Now let us see second activity. Take a plastic bottle, pierce it with a thick needle at the points 1, 2 and 3 as shown in the figure. Fill water in the bottle up to full height. As shown in the figure, water jets will be seen emerging and projecting out. The water jet emerging from the hole at the top will fall closest to the bottle, and the jet from the lowest hole falls further from the bottle, means that is away from the bottle. Also, jets coming out from the two holes at the same level fall at the same distance from the bottle. What is understood from this? So at any one level the liquid pressure is same. Also the pressure increases as the depth of the liquid increases. Now after taking information about liquid pressure and solid pressure, let us take information about gas pressure. If a balloon is inflated by filling air by mouth, it inflates on all sides. If a pinhole is created in the balloon, air leaks out and the balloon does not inflate fully. It is realized that like a liquid, gas also exerts pressure on the walls of the container in which it is enclosed. So all gases and liquids have a common name, that is a fluid. Fluid in a container exerts pressure from within on the walls and on the bottom of the container. A fluid enclosed in a container exerts its pressure equally in all directions at a point within the fluid. So there is a fluid and that is enclosed in the container which exerts pressure equally in all directions within the fluid. Now next topic is children, atmospheric pressure. Air surrounds the earth from all sides and this layer of air is called as atmosphere. The atmosphere exists to about 16 km height. It further extends up to about 400 km in a very dilute form. The pressure created due to air is called the atmospheric pressure. Now imagine that a very long hollow cylinder of unit cross-sectional area is standing on the surface of the earth and it contains air. Okay, you can see for this figure 3.8, that is of atmospheric pressure. So weight of this air is the force applied in the direction of the center of the earth. This means that atmospheric pressure is the ratio of this weight divided by the area of the surface. So the air pressure at the sea level is called 1 atmospheric pressure. And the air pressure decreases as one goes up in height from the sea level. Means as from the sea level we are going up, the air pressure decreases. And this weight of air is nothing but force applied in that atmospheric pressure. Means this is the ratio of weight divided by area. Atmospheric pressure or pressure is nothing but weight divided by area. Now let us see children, what is the 1 atmospheric pressure. So 1 atmosphere is nothing but 101 into 10 raised to 3 Pascal. That is also called as 1 bar. And 1 bar is nothing but 10 raised to 3 millibar. And 1 bar is approximately equal to 102 Pascal. That is also called as hectopascal. So atmospheric pressure is specified in the units millibar or hectopascal, that is HPA. The atmospheric pressure at a point in air is equal from all sides. So how this pressure is created? If air exists in a closed container, the air molecules are in random motion continuously and they are hitting the walls of the container. In this interaction, a force is exerted on the walls of the container and due to that pressure is created due to this force only. Now we are constantly bearing this atmospheric pressure on our heads. However, there are some cavities in our body that is filled with air and these arteries and veins are also there. They are containing blood. So in that also there is a formation of air. So what is meant by arteries and veins? So arteries are the blood vessels. They are delivering oxygen rich blood from the heart to the tissue of body. Means they are passing this oxygenated blood from the heart to the tissues of the body. Tissue means group of cells. Now veins are the type of blood vessel. They are carrying this deoxygenated blood from body organs and they are giving back to the heart. Okay. So there are atmospheric pressure and due to that we do not crust underwater due to the atmospheric pressure because this atmospheric pressure can be balanced. So the Earth's atmospheric pressure decreases with height from the sea level and that you can see in the figure 3.9. So as the height decreases, atmospheric pressure also decreases. And as the height increases, atmospheric pressure decreases. Now use your brain power. At the sea level, the atmospheric pressure that is 101 into 10 raised to 3 Pascal is acting on a tabletop of size 1 meter square. Under such a heavy pressure, why doesn't the tabletop crumble down? Crumble down means why the tabletop is not fall down. So as you know children, atmospheric pressure is exerted by gases and which is distributed in all direction and not in the downward direction. Okay, means it will distribute in all direction, that is not towards the downward direction. So atmospheric pressure will be same above and below the surface. This upward pressure from below balances the downward force from the above. This upward pressure will be balanced towards the downward pressure and therefore table doesn't crumble down due to high atmospheric pressure. Now let us see one important topic children, that is beyond force. So for this you have to do one activity. Take a plastic bottle and fix the lid of that plastic bottle tightly. Now place this bottle in the water and you have to observe. This bottle will float on the water. Try to push it into the water. Means you have to press force or you have to apply some pressure to that bottle so that it will go inside the bottle. Even when pushed, it continues to float. So this experiment can also be done with the help of plastic hollow ball. Okay. Now when you are taking that plastic ball and when you are keeping on that surface of water, okay, or in that water, then this plastic ball is also floating on that water. Now fill this bottle with water to the fullest capacity. Means full you have to fill this bottle with water. Now close the lid properly and again you have to release this bottle in the water. The bottle will float inside the water. Now this time this bottle will float inside the water. Why like this happen? The empty plastic bottle floats on the surface of water. On the contrary, the bottle full of water floats inside the water but does not go to the bottom. The weight of the empty bottle is negligible as compared to the weight of water inside. Such a bottle with water neither floats on the surface nor does it go to the bottom. This means that the force of gravity acting downwards must have been balanced by opposing force in the upward direction. Means there is a force acting on that bottle. Okay, that is force of gravity is coming from the downward, and this opposing force is coming from the upward direction on the bottle filled with water, and this force must have originated from the water surrounding the bottle, and the upward force acting on the object in water or any other liquid or any other fluid or any other gas, that is called as beyond force. So this upward force acting on any object inside the water or inside the gas, such type of force is called as beyond force. So use your brain power. While pulling a bucket from a well, the bucket full of water immersed fully in water appears to weigh less than when it has been pulled out of water. Why? So when a bucket full of water is immersed in water, so that time the net force acting on the bucket is equal to weight of the bucket full of water minus beyond force exerted by the water on the bucket. So this beyond force due to fluid is proportional to the density of the fluid. So density of water is much greater than that of air. So beyond force acting on a bucket full of water while it is in water is much greater than when it is in air or when it is out of water. Hence, it appears to weigh less while it is in water and than when it is in pulled off water, means that it is in air. Now take a piece of thin aluminum sheet and dip it in water in a bucket. What do you observe? So when you are taking thin aluminum sheet, it will sink in the water, means it will go inside the water. It will go down of that bottom. Now shape the same piece of aluminum into a small boat and place it on the surface of water. It floats, isn't it? Yes, this boat will float on the surface of water. So on the basis of that, one question answer we have to give, children. An iron nail sinks in water, but why does the mass steel ship float on it? So the density of iron is more than the density of water. So the weight of iron is more than weight of water displaced by it, and due to that nail is going down to the bottom. Secondly, the ship is hollow. Okay, means it contains air and there is an empty space which is filled with air, which makes the average density of the ship less than that of water, and hence due to that it is floating on water. Now important point regarding beyond force. When an object is deep in a liquid, a beyond force acts on it, and hence it appears that the weight of the object is reduced. Now it is becoming very easy to swim in sea water than in fresh water, because the density of sea water is higher than the density of fresh water, because in sea water there is a presence of salts which is dissolved in sea water. A lemon sinks in a glass filled with water, but it floats when we stir in 2 spoons of salt in the water. So when salt is dissolved in water, the density of the water increases. And this beyond force is directly proportional to the density of the liquid. So when the lemon is immersed in the water containing salt, the magnitude of the beyond force acting on the lemon becomes greater than the magnitude of the lemon. And due to that, this lemon is floating on that salty water. In salty water, the beyond force exceeds the gravitational force. And this beyond force depends on two factors, that is volume of the object and density of the liquid. The beyond force is more if the volume of the dipping object is more. More the density of the liquid, more is the beyond force, or more is the force of beyond C. Now, do you know how is it decided that the object left in liquid will get sink in the liquid, or will float on the surface, or will float inside the liquid? Which forces are unbalanced in the following cases? So, first case is the object floats if the beyond force is larger than its weight. So, we have to calculate here first of all magnitude of this unbalanced force. So magnitude of unbalanced force is nothing but magnitude of beyond force of that object minus weight of that object. So this direction of the unbalanced force is towards the direction of beyond force. Means direction of unbalanced force and direction of beyond force are in the same direction. Okay. But this difference, due to difference, we can say that here there is a formation of unbalanced force. Now, second case, the object sinks if the beyond force is smaller than its weight. So, here also we have to calculate the magnitude of unbalanced force, that can be calculated with the help of difference between magnitude of the weight of the object and magnitude of the beyond force. So, here the direction of unbalanced force is the direction of weight of the object. But here that difference is not coming 0. That is magnitude of weight of the object and magnitude of beyond force. And due to that, here there is the example of unbalanced force. Now third case, the object floats inside the liquid if the beyond force is equal to its weight. So here beyond force and the weight of the object is same only, and due to that object is floating inside the liquid. So here this unbalanced force is not there, because here unbalanced force is becoming 0. Okay, and due to that it is the example of balanced force. Now let us see one activity. Take a long rubber band and cut it at one point. At one of its end, tie a clean wash stone of 50 gram weight as shown in the figure. Now hold the other end of the rubber band and make a mark there. Okay. Keep the stone hanging in air and measure the length of the rubber band from the stone to the mark made earlier. So you have to measure the length of the rubber band from the stone to the mark earlier. Now take water in the pot and hold the rubber band at such a height that the stone sinks in it. Again measure the length of the rubber band up to the mark. What is observed? So this length is shorter than the earlier length. Okay. Means while dipping the stone in water, length of the stretched rubber band gets slowly reduced and is minimum when it sinks completely. What could be the reason for a shorter length of the rubber band in water? So when the stone is sunk in water, a beyond force acts on it in the upward direction, and the weight of the stone acts downward, and therefore the force which acts on it in the downward direction is effectively reduced. And due to that, we can say that children, in the water the length of this rubber band decreases, but in the air the length of this rubber band increases. Okay, due to the presence of beyond force only. Now, how much is the magnitude of this beyond force? Is it same for all the liquids? Is the beyond force of equal magnitude for all the objects? The answer of this question is embedded, or it is hidden in the Archimedes principle. So this beyond force magnitude is not same for all the liquids or for all the objects. So let us see Archimedes principle. When an object is partially or fully immersed in a fluid, a force of beyond C acts on it in the upward direction, and this force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So in the previous example, children, you can say that whichever beyond force is there on that fluid, fluid means either gas or liquid, that beyond force is acting in the upward direction, and that fluid can be displaced how much the weight of the object is there. So use your brain power. Explain the observations in the earlier experiments according to the Archimedes principle. So according to Archimedes principle, you can say that loss in weight of body or object is equal to weight of water displaced by the body, that is equal to beyond force exerted by water, that is any liquid on the body. And it was Archimedes who first observed that bodies or these objects lose their weight when immersed in water. So some objects or some bodies, if dropped in water, okay, or sink, such as stone or metallic needle. Now introduction to the scientist. Archimedes was a Greek scientist, okay, and he was a great mathematician having sharp intelligence. He found the value of pi by numerical calculation, and his knowledge of levers, pulleys, wheels, okay, in physics was useful for Greek army for fighting against Roman army. He became famous due to his work in geometry and mechanics. When he entered in the bathtub for taking bath, he discovered the above principle by observing the overflowing water, and he came out in the same state by shouting Eureka, Eureka, means I found it, I found it. So the use of Archimedes principle is very wide. This principle has been used in construction of ships and submarines. The instruments such as lactometer means for measuring the density of milk, that lactometer is used. Then hygrometer for measuring the presence of water vapor in the air. That instrument, this lactometer and hygrometer, these instruments are discovered by this Archimedes. And these instruments are based on this principle only. Now density of substance and relative density. Density is nothing but mass upon volume. So SI unit of density is kilogram per meter cube, because mass unit is kilogram and volume we are measuring in meter cube. The property density is very useful in deciding the purity of the substance. The relative density of a substance is expressed with respect to the density of water. Okay, so relative density we can calculate with the help of density of water only. So relative density formula will be density of substance upon density of water. And this ratio of two equal physical quantity has no unit. Means in short, relative density has no unit. Relative density of a substance is called its specific gravity. Means relative density has another word, that is specific gravity also. Thank you children for watching the video and for your attention.